Welcome back to Find Your Authentic Energy. I am Wendy McCauley Brand, your host, and I'm so excited that you have decided to join me for this second episode. Hopefully, you're curious about human design and finding your own authentic energy, because that is my purpose, is to help bring people back to their true who they are at their core. And human design has been a tool that has worked for me. It's an experiment. I'm still working on it, and it's not perfect, and I don't have all the answers. But I kind of like it. It's a lot of fun to learn about myself, about my type, my design, who, based on some old wisdom, who I am meant to be. And so I'll tell you a little bit about that, how human design came to be. This is kind of a 101, maybe we'll call it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how it came to be, what it includes, what those ancient wisdoms are that make up human design. And then also we'll talk about your type and your authentic theme, your not self. And so let's just dive right in. I want to share with you and I won't get too nerdy on you. I will start by saying that a lot of my information, I completed a certification back in March, and I also have been reading a lot of great authors. And I'll start, and so the work that you'll hear from me, it comes from all of these places. I obviously didn't come up with it on my own. I have stories to share of my own. I'm doing an experiment myself. I've used human design with some of my coaching clients. I'm bringing that into my coaching now. I've also done charts and readings for all of my family and friends. But this is just taking it to the next level for me. It's really sharing the learning that has helped me over the last 6 months. Human design, I learned about it about 3 years ago. And actually, I was at a retreat. I'll just do some name dropping just so you know where it all came from for me. Kathy Heller, I was at a retreat at her home in LA, and she had someone come to her house and do human design for all of us that were there in her home. But that was 2023, and I was so intrigued by it, but it was so complex. It was really difficult for me I understood my type, and that connected with me. That helped me to understand at least that it resonated with me. But it wasn't until about, I guess I would say the first of the year, this year, 2026, that I came across it again. And I don't recall how, but I went back to one of my original resources, which was Emma Dunwoody. She has a great podcast called the Human Design Podcast, Emma Dunwoody. And then this is her book, Human Design Made Simple. So a lot of the stuff that I'll be talking about today, I pulled from her book, and the hundreds of episodes of hers that I've listened to on her podcast and gone so deep. And then Dr. Karen Parker, she really uses quantum physics is kind of her bent for talking about human design. And this is her book, Understanding Human Design, The New Science of Astrology, Discover Who You Really Are. So I actually started with this book, then I got Emma's book, and then you'll hear me talk about this some too, but this is my favorite book. And this is The Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. And gosh, it's all smudged. And because this is really, it's a great contemplative book. I use it in the mornings for my journaling, for prompts, just for diving a little bit deeper. And Richard Rudd, I believe, worked with the founder of the Gene Keys and came up, I'm sorry, the founder of human design, and then took the part of the human design that we'll talk about in a little bit that comes from the I Ching. He took the gates and took it a level deeper, and has just written this beautiful book. Every single gate has the shadow side, the gift side, and the Siddhi, which is like this elevated state. Um, and so it's really this great complement to human design, is how I've used it. Um, so let's dive in. I'm going to talk a little bit. We'll start with kind of where did human design come from? And it actually, the creator is Ra Uruhu, but his birth name was Alan Robert Krakauer, and he came up with this in 1987. And what it is it's derived from four different ancient wisdoms, and that's Western astrology, the Hindu chakra system, Judaic Kabbalah, and the Chinese I Ching. And Western astrology, they use in human design, it pulls the exact placement of the sun, the moon, and the planets at your time of birth, and then also 3 months before that. And so when you look at a human design chart, you'll see there's two sides. There's the body graph in the middle, and then typically a left side and a right side that have sun, moon, and planets on both sides. And so we'll talk a little bit about that probably in a different episode. Also, you can get your a free body chart from my website now, and I'll direct you there in a minute. But I do encourage you, because I'm going to talk about types today. I think it would be interesting for you to listen to the episode, hear about the different types, see if anything sounds like it resonates with you, and then go get your chart. If you're not already familiar with your human design type, then go pull your chart from my website, see what your type is, and see if what resonated with you, kind of who you feel like you are, resonates with that chart. Or you can go get it right now if you'd like. I'll just tell you, the website is wendymccaulleybrand.com. That's Wendy McCauley, MCCAULEY brand.com. And there's just a button on the homepage for you to get your free chart. But back to the basics. So where it came from, Western astrology, and then the Hindu chakra systems, which talks about your energy centers. It's a modern day approach to that Hindu 7 chakras. And then the Judaic Kabbalah, the tree of life, that translates to the channels in human design, which is how your energy flows from each chakra or each energy center. And then the Chinese I Ching maps the 64 hexagrams in the I Ching directly to the 64 gates that you'll see in the centers. Every center has a number of gates that are either activated or not activated, and then the channels connect those gates. So hopefully that makes sense. The bottom line is Ra Uruhu pulled from those 4 different ancient wisdoms to create this, kind of laid them on top of each other and came up with a systematic approach to understanding your energy. And then there's 3 other things that kind of connect as well. And that's just quantum physics, how the universe is interconnected energetically. And so one of the theories is that we are all connected, and there is science that proves it, right? Um, and the neutrino physics are a part of this, where if you've not heard of neutrinos, it's these subatomic particles that, as the physical data carrier, that leaves an energetic imprint at birth. And so the theory is that when you were born, there were neutrinos passing through the atmosphere that imprinted on you from the planets at birth. I know it sounds woo, and trust me, if you haven't heard of any of this, I encourage you to research it and check it out, because it's not as woo as you might think. And we'll talk a little bit about that too. I mean, let's just, I'll share that I was definitely, it bothered me at first that this resonated so much with me, because I'm not one, I've never been into astrology. I mean, I know I'm a Virgo, but that's about it. And the fact that this, all of this information, even to the deepest details of those 64 gates, like where they show up for me, what planets they're aligned to. Um, it really has, you know, made an impact on me. And I'll share that as an example. One of the things, like the north and south nodes are on your chart, and the north and south nodes are meant to reflect kind of the path that your whole life um, is going down this path. And for me, both the south node and the north node, the gates in those are directly tied to listening and really tapping into um, listening to yourself, listening to others. And what was really interesting to me is, if any of you listening know me at all on a personal level, for my entire life, people have told me that I'm a good listener. People come to me with secrets. People open up to me very quickly. It's just how my energy comes across. I'm very patient. I'm a listener. I don't interrupt. I mean, that's probably the physical part of it, but um my best friends, my family have just always said I'm a good listener. And I ended up getting into coaching, in the last 3 years, and I think it's just, and now looking at my human design, it is just spot on. And that's just one small piece of it. I'll share more as I share about human design. I'll continue to share pieces of my own chart with you just as a reference point, and also some of my family members. Maybe I won't divulge names. Um, but it's been really, and the thing too that I'll say about human design is it's not meant to tell you, it's not trying to predict your future or tell you things you don't already know about yourself. It really is validating what you already know about yourself. And so that for me, in a time where I, was coming out of having this corporate career where I felt like I had lost touch with myself. And honestly, it was more than just the corporate career. It was the 25 years of corporate career, 18 years of raising my son, um, turning 50, like all of these culminated in 2021, where I ended up in 22, leaving my job, turning 50 in 21, my son graduating high school and going off to college in 2021, like all of these things culminating, causing me to question. And it's typical midlife, right? Um, I think causing me to question who I was, where I was going. And it wasn't really until I found human design that it all just clicked for me, which is why I'm here sharing it, dedicated a whole podcast to it, because I want to help you as well. So let's dive into energy types. Your energy type is the foundation for everything. And it's really, you know, when we show up, make decisions, spend our energy on things, it's important that we're doing it on the right things. So, your type is the foundational description of how your energy works, and it's designed to operate, attract, and interact with the world around you. It's that big picture map of your energetic nature. And there's 5 types in human design. There were originally 4, and then they split out into 2 different ones. And I'll tell you what those mean in a minute. But I'll start with the first one, which is the manifester. So there's the manifester, the generator, the manifesting generator, the projector, and the reflector. So the manifester, it's only 9% of our population. And manifestors, they are trendsetters, trailblazers, and they are on this earth to inspire action. And they have a lot of energy. They are meant to initiate, where a lot of the other types you'll learn are, we're meant to uh, initiate from an external sort, because something in our outside world invites us to respond to something, but manifestors they can initiate from an internal spark. And my mother is a manifester. I think she is probably um, unaware of a lot. She's probably, maybe I'd say, a conditioned manifester. And what I mean by that is she is not aware of all of the strength and talents that she has. But what she does do naturally, even in a conditioned state, and when I say conditioned, I mean like how this world conditions us. She is a powerhouse. She's 70, I don't know, 76, I think, maybe 74. Sorry, mom, if you're listening and I got that wrong. But she is still working. She is the best salesperson I've ever known. She's been in sales her whole life, and she's still going. She's a great example to me of a manifester. And again, only 9% of the population. But you're really meant to, um, in all of these types, it's really important to pay attention to what you have energy for. And manifestors have this great burst of energy when they're inspired by something, but they're also meant to relax and make sure that they recuperate after, great bursts of energy, which is true for most. The generator, 38% of the population, if you are a generator, you are here to be lit up by the work that you do. If you are not lit up by the work that you do, then you are probably in a state of frustration or anger, because that is your not self. And your energy doesn't come from the mind, it comes from your sacral center, from your gut. So that is your energy source for operating in this world. A manifesting generator, this is what I am, 32% of the population. And the name kind of gives it away. You have some traits that are from the manifester, and you have some traits that are from the generator. But at the end of the day, the difference is only manifestors, true manifestors, can act or initiate from their own inspiration, and manifesting generators are more of the generator type, in that we're here to respond to outside inspiration. What is a manifester part of me, though, is the energy. We are here to demonstrate human potential. Because of the amount of energy we have, we can be seen as superhuman. And we are a non-linear being. So being all over the place is your magic. And if you have not, if you are like most of us, you were conditioned to believe that you had to start something and finish it. Stay focused on one thing. My dad passed almost a year ago this month, and I don't know his time of birth. I could probably figure it out, but I would almost guarantee that he is a manifesting generator. And I remember he would start something and not finish it. And his wife gave him the hardest time because, now, to be fair, he would start building a boat in the backyard and not finish it. And then there's this huge boat in the backyard. So I get it. But I wish that he would have been alive long enough for me to share this with him, because what he was doing was living, um, you know, what lit him up, responding to what lit him up. And so if that meant building a boat one day and burning it down the next, and then, defending a case in court, and going all in on that, he could pivot, from one, he was a runner, he was a biker, he had so many hobbies. And I guarantee you he was a manifesting generator. He was responding to what lit him up. And I also, as I said, I'm a manifesting generator. our signature theme is peace and satisfaction. And our not self theme is frustration and anger. And I don't think I mentioned this before, but your signature theme is something that when you are in flow, when you are in alignment, and alignment means thinking, speaking, doing, acting, all of the things, what you believe, what you think, what you say, and what you do are all the same thing. That is being in alignment. And when you're able to respond to things that light you up, you experience a sense of peace and satisfaction. When you're out of alignment, if you're a manifesting generator, your not self theme is frustration and anger. So I know for me, if I have a project that I'm totally engulfed in, like writing my book, um, if I have to go do something else, if there's another commitment that I've had on the calendar for a long time, but I am in the flow of getting this work done, this getting the book done, I will be so frustrated if I have to stop that to go do the other because I'm in the flow. I'm in alignment with what's lighting me up. And then the not self theme is frustration and anger. Um and the thing about your signature theme and your not self theme is these are the flags for you. So as you learn about your type and you learn about your signature theme and your not self theme and um there's two things you can get on my website. There's your chart, and it will say your signature theme and your not self theme. But you can also get a detailed report that has more information. But even just getting the chart with your signature theme and not self theme, if you could start anywhere, I'd say that's the best place to learn and experiment. I'm going to talk a lot about experimenting on this podcast, and hopefully we can do some of this together. I'll create um, maybe some worksheets that we can go through in some of these after the podcast that you can download. But understanding your signature theme and not self is the best way to start testing so as a manifesting generator, when you experience peace and satisfaction, write that down. Like, what's going on in your life? What are you doing that you're experiencing this peace and satisfaction? Because for you, that means that you are in alignment. If you're feeling frustration or anger, stop and think about what it is, what's at the root of that, write it down, and you'll start to see a trend. Okay, let's move on to the next type, the projector. 20% of the population. I have a sister who's a projector. You're thoughtful and wise. You're here to help others find their way to use their energy most efficiently. Invitations will arrive when you have the energy to fulfill them. And you're at your best one on one, although you can do well one to many. And you have specific people that you're here to guide. Your signature theme is success. So it's a feeling when you feel success, that you have achieved success in something, either for yourself or for someone else in your life, that means you are living in alignment. When you are feeling bitterness, and it's a different emotion than I talked about frustration and anger for the manifesting generator. For the projector, it's bitterness. So when you find yourself feeling bitter about something, write that down. What is that telling you? What's happening in your life that is making you bitter? It's something to pay attention to, because it probably means you are not living in alignment with your design. Okay, and then the last one, the fifth and most unique, is the reflector. Only 1% of the population are reflectors. And reflectors make decisions that are correct for themselves. That's the most important thing. You're powerful and you know who you are. Your ability to see, sense, read, and work with subtle energy is extraordinary. Your signature theme is surprise. When you are surprised by something in your life, that is when you are living in alignment. And when you experience disappointment, check in with yourself. What is that disappointment? Where is that coming from? You are not in alignment with your design. Those are the 5 types. We've talked a little bit about signature theme and not self theme. And what I want you to take away, I hope you'll go to my website, wendymccaulleybrand.com, download your free chart. There is a paid report if you want even more. We'll continue to dive deeper on these episodes. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn, Wendy McCauley Brand, on Instagram at Wendy McCauley Brand. And shoot me a note. Let me know what questions you have. And I'm excited to continue on this journey with you. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.